Hello everyone and welcome aboard the beautiful Carnival Glory for today's ship tour. We're going to be starting all the way at the very top of the ship and zigzagging our way all the way down. And of course, as we get started, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed today's tour and subscribe to continue following along all the other Glory videos that we have. So starting up on deck 14, we have the Serenity deck. This is the adults only area. It kind of halfway wraps around the front here, and you have a few hot tubs. And then of course, you're going to be able to see all these loungers and egg-shelled chairs, if that's what you call them. It kind of wraps all the way around deck 14. But we're going to skip down to deck 12 as there is no deck 13. We have on the port side of the ship the Camp Ocean outdoor area for the kids. And then pretty much as you turn around, you have a little ping pong table here with some outdoor loungers. This is a public area, not adults only, so you may have some kids around here. But if you head up that set of stairs here, just back up onto deck 14, we have the entrance to the water slides, the Aqua Tunnel and Twister. The Glory originally had a single green water slide, and these two were actually added in during a dry dock back in 2016. And then directly behind that entrance, we actually have the ship's coin, which is a commemorative thing. They usually will put this underneath the keel of the ship during construction. Anyways, we're going to skip back down to deck 12 over on the starboard side of the ship, or the right-hand side. We have the lower level of the Serenity only, adults only area. Of course, here we have a bar off to our left-hand side here, and just some more clamshell chairs and places to relax around the deck. And then skipping inside deck 12 forward, just outside of that Camp Ocean area, we have the actual entrance for Camp Ocean. So you've got I think it's 2 to 11-year-old kids. You can drop them off in here. They obviously will separate it through age groups within that. But as you can see, 0 to 1, 2 to 5, 6 to 8, and 9 to 11 years old. Skipping down one deck onto 11, we have the Cloud9 Spa. And as you come in, you'll go through a set of locker rooms, and then you have the actual spa area. This one here is a little bit of a sauna type room, which is really neat. Very hot in there, as it's supposed to be. Then continuing forward, we have some of the treadmills. We actually have the gym area within. So lots of treadmills, ellipticals, even some free weights, and some lifting stations as well. Lots to do here. Just another look at some of the equipment that is found in here. Again, some ellipticals. And one really interesting thing is that in this little room right here, originally it was a pool, and I believe it's like that on the rest of the Conquest and other classes, so this must have been taken out during a recent dry dock. Anyways, we're going to skip right back out to deck 11, and you have a look at the stadium seating and, of course, some of the slides as well, or a different look at the slides. One of my favorite things about these Conquest class ships is, of course, the stadium seating, and I have to say, the new water slides that they added to Glory are very, very cool. They even have the little water park you find on some of the newer ships. The stadium seating here, and of course you can see some of the hot tubs as well, but the stadium seating is perfect for the dive-in movie theaters. You can see the movie screen. They usually will play something at night and sometimes even during the day. And of course it also just overlooks the pool as well. Continuing back on deck 10, we have just a lot of the pretty much a sun deck. A lot of the loungers and things like that usually will fill up on a sea day. And continuing on back, we're going to head up that little set of stairs here, back up to deck 11 and 12. We have the sports deck, or the little sports court, where you have the basketball court. This even looks like it's pickleball. Up there at the top is a little sun deck. There's really just a bunch of loungers up there, but I'm pretty sure that's pickleball. And then at the very top, unfortunately all of this was closed for some reason, but that is the mini golf course that wraps around the iconic whale tail funnel. And in the very back of deck 11, we have the jogging track and a quick look at the shuffleboard court. I feel like this area has so much potential. They could easily put a ropes course or something back here, even maybe just a more of an expanded mini golf course like they did on Carnival Freedom. But just a very empty space back here. Somewhat quiet, usually just a lot of people exercising though, but I don't know. I feel like this is lacking something, and they really could capitalize on all this empty space up here. But anyways, we're going to continue on to the other side, of course, cornhole. And then skipping down to deck 10, we have more of the sun deck here. We have the retractable roof in case there's inclement weather, or sometimes they even close that at night. But just more places to look and hang out around the ship, and you get a beautiful view of the island of Bimini off the back of the ship. Going forward, we're going to go into the top level of the buffet. We're going to get into the main area here in a bit, but this top level is where you're going to find the barbecue station, and I feel like this is a hidden place on the Conquest class ship, as you can head up that set of stairs from the buffet, but not many people come up here because they don't realize it exists. So definitely come check this out, and of course the barbecue is very good as well. But skipping back outside, we're going to continue forward just a little bit more. And on this side, or the starboard side of the ship, the right-hand side, is the smoking section, so all of this is a smoking area. But if you head over on the port side, and that same stretch of space there, it is non-smoking. So pick and choose your battles there if you want to go through the smoking section or not. But we're going to skip right into the midship lobby elevator area. The only thing up here on deck 10 is the Emerald Room, which is the specialty steakhouse on board. So this is a pay to eat, but if you want a really nice steak dinner, go ahead and make a reservation here in the Emerald Room. And of course, here's a look inside the actual steakhouse itself. That will be all for deck 10, so we're going to skip down to deck 9 aft on the Lido deck, Carnival's famous Lido deck. Here we have the aft pool, and of course you can see the big pool right there, and some hot tubs here right behind it. Very, very nice area just to kind of sit back, and there's chairs and tables all throughout the back there. You can just kind of sit and watch the aft and wake view of the ship too. We have a little coffee stand and some ice cream machines as well. This is on the right-hand side of the ship, and of course if you head over to the left-hand or the port side, you have Pizza Pirate, which is the pizza restaurant on board, or I guess it's not really a restaurant, but the pizza bar. And then of course right next to that we have the aft pool bar. And then of course one of the most important places on any cruise ship, we have the buffet, the Lido Buffet, Lido Marketplace, whatever you want to call it. I called it the Windjammer once or twice just to be funny. But here we have the main buffet. It is sailboat themed, which is really, really cool. Right in the middle we have the sushi at sea. And then, of course, just all of the other regular stuff that you're going to find in your typical buffet. And this was in the morning, so they had some breakfast stuff out. But you also have some coffee, drink stations over there. And then, of course, heading out to the mid section of the ship, we have the Blue Iguana Cantina. They do have breakfast there as well. Blue Iguana is kind of like a Mexican food bar found on the ship. You know, you can get burritos, things like that there. And then, of course, we have the Blue Iguana bar that rivals the Red Frog Rum Bar, which we'll get to in just a second. But basically, you got a tropical-themed bar on each side of the ship. This one is the Blue Iguana. You do have also a towel station right there if you need to check out some towels while you're at the pool. There's the Red Frog Rum Bar. We'll get there in just a second, and a look at the amazing dive-in theater with the giant TV screen right there. As we make our way across, you can see some life jackets there, so it's always a good peace of mind just in case if you want to put one of those on the kiddos and don't have to worry too much about them, I guess. But here we have the Red Frog Rum Bar. Again, just a same thing, tropical themed bar found on the ship. And of course, the iconic Guy's Burger joint. I had this for lunch just about every day on the cruise. Love myself a good Guy's Burger, and I missed that a lot on my recent Royal Caribbean cruises, I must say. Anyways, we're going to keep continuing forward. The more looks at the water slide or the water park. And then inside on deck 9, here we have some of the glass elevators, but nothing really over in this section. It's mostly just going from the lobby into the pool deck. We're going to skip forward. We are on deck 10, going all the way forward to what we call the secret decks here on board the Carnival Glory. Head outside these doors, the very forward of the ship, and you have yourself the secret deck area. Not a lot of people know about this. It's one of my favorite spots. And of course, you got so many great views from the ship. Mostly just mechanical stuff and just satellites and random stuff up there. But nonetheless, very, very cool. You can walk out on the bridge wings like you can see here with a fantastic view down the side of the ship. And of course, that goes for both ways as we skip over to the port side of the ship. You got to look down the other way. Between there and deck 5, there is absolutely nothing, so we're going to skip down to deck 5 all the way in the back of the ship. We have the Punchliner Comedy Club. This is where all the comedy shows are held every night of the cruise, and I actually noticed on my cruise specifically, at least, there was a Punchliner show at the end of the cruise in the main theater. Here we have the Alchemy Bar, just a specialty cocktails type of bar. some of the more adventurous type of drinks, which is always really cool. You're not going to find just like your typical like a Jack and Coke or beers or anything like that there. It's like specialty cocktails, which is really cool. Right next to there, we have the nightclub that's found on board. You got the big disco floor area, and then, of course, plenty of loungers and places to sit around and hang out and just socialize as well. Right next to the nightclub, we have the warehouse arcade, just your typical arcade that's found on board the ship. You got some claw machines, skee ball, Jurassic Park, which is kind of cool. Just random arcade games, really, if you want to waste a couple bucks and play some games. Now we're going to head down the main stretch of the ship, the Promenade. Is that what they call it on Carnival too? I've been taking too many Royal Caribbean cruises, but nonetheless, this is your main stretch with a lot of different things like the nightclub and the arcade that you saw earlier. Lots of couches as well if you want to hang out and relax. And of course, Club O2 for the 15 to 17-year-old kids, the teen clubs basically. And then here we have a look at Java Blue Cafe, the specialty coffee place. Essentially, like, if you're familiar with Royal Caribbean, it's Cafe Promenade, essentially. But these coffees you do have to pay for, but they are included in the Cheers alcohol package, so keep that in mind. I got a couple free coffees. That was awesome. Right next to there, we have the Adventures store, basically backpacks, sunscreen, sun shirts, even Yeti tumbler cups, which is awesome. I got one for myself. It was really cool. But anyways, a little shop there for some shore excursions and stuff like that. Here we have the casino bar, and then of course the actual casino itself as we continue making our way forward. And now we continue our way forward into the atrium of the ship, the main lobby area. Here on deck 5, it's like a big ring for decks 3, 4, and 5, but here on deck 5, we have some of the specialty shops like Hip Fish, which is jewelry store, sunglasses, makeup, stuff like that if you want to buy some of that on board. We also have a look at Cherry on Top, which is the candy store on board. Lots of really cool looking candies there. And of course, they also have the Whale Tail Funnel Gummies, which are always one of my favorites. Here we have a look into the FE Jewelry Store, just your typical luxury jewelry type store that's found on board the ship. This is, of course, on, if you're looking forward, the right-hand side of the ship. And then if you skip over to the left-hand side or the opposite side of the main lobby area, we have the Carnival store, the fun shops is what they used to call it. Kind of bummed they don't call it the fun shops anymore. It's kind of boring. But anyways, Carnival t-shirts, ship models, my personal favorite. All sorts of merchandise with Carnival's logo slapped on it. You can find it here in the Carnival store, the fun shops. And then built into it is also just kind of the liquor store. And then here we have a look at the actual atrium itself, the beautiful atrium here on the Carnival Glory. Just a look down decks 3, 4, and 5 of the atrium bar down at the very bottom of the ship, at the bottom of the staircase, but we'll get to that in just a minute. There's just another part of Hip Fish over on the other side next to the Carnival shop, or the fun shops. And then right next to there we have the Heroes Tribute Bar. This is the veterans kind of tribute type of bar that Carnival has been putting on all of their ships. Very, very cool to see. And then this is where they're going to host, like, you know, college football, baseball, you know, NFL, sports games type of thing. I came here one night on the cruise and it was an absolute blast. Skipping down to deck 4, this is the Pixels Photo Gallery. This is where you're going to find all your pictures that you take on board the ship. It is an older ship, so it is going to be the old school style where you get the photo taken, you're going to have to find it yourself, the actual physical paper, rather than some of the newer ships that you can find it digitally on a monitor. Here we have a look at the library that's on board. There's some board games and stuff in there. And then, of course, if we continue back now, we're on the midsection of the ship. We have Circle C, the ages 12 to 14 kids club. And then the Golden Restaurant. This is one of 2 main dining rooms that spans decks 3 and 4. Here on board the Carnival Glory, here, of course, is the top level. So you got a row of seating and row of tables around the top, and then down at the bottom, you have another set of tables down there that kind of fills up the whole deck. On deck 4, we also have this really random room here, the green room. I'm assuming this is where they would do weddings and stuff like that on board. Never anything going on in there. And then continuing back, we have the Ivory Room, which is just a big lounge. Also just something that I never really see used ever on any of the Conquest or even the Destiny class, Sunshine class ships, I never see this room used. I don't know why. And then here we have the Platinum Restaurant, which is the second of the two main dining rooms. This is, of course, the one that overlooks the back of the ship. We are actually down on deck 3 now, taking a look at the Platinum dining room, but spans decks 3 and 4. And I believe the difference between the two is that this is actually the assigned time dining. So if you have your assigned time dinners, this is where you would go. And I believe the Golden Restaurant in the middle is for anytime dining. But we're going to skip back into the lobby down on deck 3. We have the Dream Studio, which is where you can get some professional photos done as well, outside of the ones they have set up around the ship. Here we have a little shore excursion desk, just in case you need to book any last-minute adventures or any excursions while you're on board the ship. And of course, down at the very bottom of the atrium, we have a look at the staircase from the bottom looking up. Very, very cool. I always love these atriums on the Conquest class ships. When we head over to the other side, we have the guest services area, just in case if you have any issues on the ship. Then all the way forward, spanning deck 3, 4, and 5, 3 being the very bottom there, and this view here is on deck 5. We have the main theater where you're going to find all of the production shows on board. Great shows. And they even did the comedy club here as well on the last night of the cruise. And then last but not least, right outside on deck 3, there is these areas below the lifeboats where you can hang out outside with some loungers. And this, of course, goes for both sides of the ship, but a nice relaxing area down low on the ship, and of course, some beautiful, beautiful views. Thank you all so much for watching today's ship tour of the beautiful Carnival Glory. Make sure you leave a like if you did enjoy today's video, and of course, share the video if you have anybody going on the ship very soon. And of course, as well, subscribe for all the upcoming videos we have from every day on board our 3-night cruise on board this beautiful Conquest class ship. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.